Hello, my name is Nikola Jeremic and I'm the music composer for Starpoint Gemini Warlords. The initial idea for the music of the game came from our initial meetings, myself and the guys from Little Green Man Studios, where we have discussed that it would finally be a good idea to have a completely original soundtrack to this game. So we sat down, we brainstormed a couple of times, and we eventually decided to have like a very unique and hybrid soundtrack which pays the homage to our favorite sci-fi series and franchises like Homeworld, Mass Effect, Deus Ex, Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, and Star Trek, of course. So once we listened to a lot of music from these franchises, and we have decided that it would be a very good thing to create something that's close to that, but that's also a little bit original and that will fit our world that we have created together a bit better. So eventually we decided to skip all the big orchestral Hollywood bombastic sound. We didn't want any of that. Instead, we decided to create big, massive sound with electronic instruments like synthesizers, electric guitars, electric cello, and layered that. On top of that, we have layered some of the orchestral instruments like big string sections and brass sections, but even then, I layered them in such a way that you can't recognize that they were once actually orchestral instruments, because they were processed a lot. So sometimes they even sound synthetic and synthesized, not organic in their sense. So there was a lot of hardware and software synthesizers, both analog and digital stuff, like I had my Yamaha DX7 and my two Korg Volcas and Moog synthesizers and Yamaha CS80 and stuff like that, so Zebra of course, and some of the orchestral samples and patches that I used and that I created myself. But eventually, when I used all of that, we still needed something that's supposed to stay a little bit original and give it a sort of a flavor that it's not that out of the box sound that you can hear. So on many occasions during the compositional process, I decided to create some of my own sounds by using various objects and my electric guitar. So there was a lot of electric guitar drones and electric cello drones out there in the soundtrack. And even they are also featured as solo instruments as well, to give it more of a personal and emotional feel to the score. And there was also a lot of ethnic instruments like, I don't know, I used Japanese shakuhachi and Armenian duduk, and sometimes there was also vocal performances of solo vocalists, female singers from Europe and Russia and the Middle East, and we had a big choir section of over 200 singers, which was actually sampled, but still we managed to create it to sound big and massive. So it was a very fun process to do it. The idea for the solo instruments came from actually when we talked about the soundtrack. The developers said like, hey, let's not use guitars, let's not use some aggressive sounds and stuff like that. But then eventually I started testing those instruments in a setting of the video game, and they liked how it fit. So eventually we stayed and used the entire soundtrack is featuring a lot of guitars, even though the initial idea was not to have them. So it was a fun process, and compositional wise, it's very minimalistic in actually composing point of view. There's not a lot of complex harmonies and melodies. Everything is so simple and so minimalistic and so personal, so that the players can immerse themselves into the world that we have created, so without getting distracted by the music. So music is there just to help you get immersed, and I think we did a very good job of it. And I'm very proud to say that this Starpoint Gemini Warlords is the first Warlords game that we have created an original soundtrack for, and it was a very fun process to do it. So I'm quite honored to have been a part of this team, and I hope the fans will like the music and that the fans will like the game, of course. So I guess I'll see you in outer space, Captains. Bye.